All right, hey, what's up? So this is Neil from perfectsunled.com. Check it out. Links are in the description. Also, growpotchippy.com. All right, so let's get started here. Be answer some questions, common questions I get from you guys, and have some notes written down here so I don't forget what I wanted to address. I'm glad that YouTube is like. I really want to talk about this whole like censorship thing that's going on, because it's more than just marijuana. It's crazy what's going on. And we'll get into that. So stay tuned for that if you want to hear me, rant about some different stuff that's been happening. But let's get into this with questions. So this guy writes, Brandon Heskett. I decided to leave this because I thought it was funny. But he writes, "Why do I not believe anything you say? Answer me, woman." I just said, you shouldn't believe, you should test. And that's true. So people shouldn't just take my word for shit. Don't just believe what I say, test it out yourself. You could see my grows, but I mean, people can fake that kind of stuff. So, try it yourself. Try my system. Does my system work? Try my light. You get 90 days. Just try it. Make sure you're ready to grow with it when you get it, because you got that 90-day window, and you don't want to go past that. Otherwise, I can't just do a full refund. So get the light, grow with it for a grow, and see if it works. Now make sure that you can already get good yields off HPS, because if you can't get good yields off HPS, the light's not going to make any difference. You have to know the basics of growing first. So first, master my system, or master whatever system you want to master, get good at growing, and then you can truly test the light. I think honestly, for beginning of growing, use HPS. It's cheaper. Like I would just use Apollo HPS system, honestly. It gets the job done. I have a Ghetto Grow where I used an Apollo HPS 600 watt setup. And for those that are wondering, this is another question I get all the time. That is, hey man, where are all your grows at? It's right there in my playlist. So just go through my playlist and you'll see different grows by name. And so for those who want to see that particular grow where I grew one auto plant under a 600 watt HPS, that's under the Ghetto Grow. And I kept everything very, very simple in that grow. I didn't use anything super expensive, anything like that. It was cheap tent. Everything was cheap. In the Apollo light setup for the 600 watt HPS, I think on Amazon right now is only like 150 bucks. That comes with the hood, that comes with the ballast, that comes with your light bulb. So everything you need to start growing as far as the light setup goes. So super inexpensive. That's the way to practice and grow, in my opinion. But some people just want to skip all that and just get right into using a good light. That's cool too. I can respect that. So just know though that your first grows, your first grows are not going to be busting out. If you grow at the max yield, you're not going to be busting out, 3 pounds. That takes a while to get there, even with HPS. So if you can't get to 2 pounds with HPS, a 1000 watt HPS, don't expect to get to 3 pounds with a max yield. You gotta grow and learn and maximize your area and stuff like that. It takes time. But if you want the most quality buds you can get, then yeah, it's going to give you better quality than HPS. But honestly, I would just, especially if you're like hurting on money, I would just start with HPS. Now most LED companies won't tell you that. They won't be like, hey man, don't buy my lights, don't buy anybody's lights, go buy HPS and just buy Apollo. It's cheap, and you just buy a few extra bulbs for 20 bucks, and that way if they go out, you have an extra bulb ready to rock and roll. Change your bulbs every other grow. Anyway, so they won't say that because they're money hungry, thieving bastards. That's why. That's just the truth of reality. Most companies are money hungry, thieving motherfuckers that want to steal your money and take advantage of the grow community. They're like, oh, look at this, we could tap into this market, and that's why you have freaking grow pots that are made of fucking plastic, made for under $1 in China, and they're selling that shit for fucking $15 a pop for a fucking pot. Well, because it has some holes in the side of it. Come on, even if they manufacture it here in the United States, this shit's not that expensive to manufacture. After you consider materials and labor and all that kind of stuff, you're talking under $2 a pot, and they're busting out sometimes $30 they want for these crazy pots. Like, why? It's just crazy. It's crazy talk, man. There's no reason to charge, 2,000% more than what it's worth. 20 times more than what it takes to make it. No one has to do that to stay in business. But anyway, so in a closed system, does smell leak out? Now these are questions I pulled off from my Wix site. I just don't want to have to because I had to go through several things to find it, and so it's just easier for me to copy and paste it so I don't forget which questions I want to address. So in a closed system, does the smell leak out? First, for those that don't know the difference between a closed and open system, a closed system is how I grow. That is, I don't bring any fresh air into my grow space, so into my grow tent, and I don't pull air out of my grow tent. The only time any air exchange happens is when I open the tent to go in and out of it. Other than that, there's an AC. Now the AC does bring in some fresh air because I use a window AC, and the window AC does pull in air from the outside sometimes. Mostly this is during the time when it's just in fan mode. And I know that to be true because I've tested it with the AC not ever going into fan mode, put it in a mode to where the AC turns on, and then when it just turns off, there's no fan mode. My CO2 stays a lot higher during that time when the AC is not in fan mode. Then I use the mode where it goes AC, and then when the AC turns off, it goes into fan mode. And it is constantly blowing air no matter what. It's either blowing in fan air or blowing in cool air. And when I have it set to that mode, my CO2 drops way down because it's cycling air from outside the tent to inside the tent. Anyway, so I don't use that mode. I use only the cool mode. So when it turns off, it's completely off. There's no air coming at all. So totally closed system. That not even my AC brings in fresh air. All the fresh air that the plants need are there, right? So all the oxygen and stuff they need are right there in the room. There's naturally going to be some air exchange through thermodynamics and stuff. You know, the cool air, warm air is going to transfer through the things. There's always going to be some air exchange, and there's little gaps. You know, these tents aren't airtight, so there's going to be some air exchange anyways. But I then have a fan that blows that air around, and I use CO2. If you're using a closed system, don't do it if you're not using CO2. Now, if you have your tent inside your house, don't worry about it. You got plenty of CO2 in your house. Even if you have a house with really good like central AC and central airflow, so that it still blows air in even when the AC or heater turns off. That is, it still kicks on every hour or so to exchange the air in your house. Even if you have that, the CO2 in your house is still much higher than outside, and it's good enough for a closed system in a grow tent. I would still, you still want to pull air from outside the tent to inside the tent, because you want to pull in that CO2 from inside your house to inside the tent. But anyway, so that's the difference. So what do you do with the closed system as far as smell? How do you get the smell from leaking out? Same way you would in an open system. So open system means you're pulling air into your grow space and you're pulling air out of your grow space in order to keep good airflow. That's for why. So you keep good fresh air. That is CO2. Because when the plants use up all the CO2, you have to pull more CO2 back in. That's the only reason for that. And also, I guess, to control temperatures. But I use AC to control temperatures. It's much cheaper actually and easier. It doesn't turn on that often. If you have the proper size AC for the room area, it's really easy to keep the temperatures down. All right, so you use a scrubber. So it's like a cylinder type, the fans. Sometimes they're shaped like big fan like this with the small ends. You want to get like a 6-inch to 8-inch fan. It's basically a really advanced ducking fan. And it's the same fans you would use to pull air in and out of your room. And then you have a big scrubber. The big filter is like huge, like this. Like, if it's a 6-inch filter, it's like this long, and 6 inches like that. So it's a big tube that connects to your fan. Hook it up to the fan, hang it up, but don't vent it out. That is, don't put any ducking on it to vent it in or out of the room. It's just pulling air from the room. In the closed system, it's pulling air through that filter, scrubbing the air and blowing that air right back in your room. Make sure that end that's blowing the air out of that fan is facing into a wall, so it kind of creates a circular of air. That might be the only fan you need. You might not even have to use an oscillating fan. That will probably create enough airflow inside the tent, depending on how big the tent is. But don't have it blowing towards your plants. You'll fuck your plants up. They'll get wind burn, which looks a lot like light burn, kind of like the edge of the leaves will start turning brown and shit. Anyway, so you don't want to do that. Just make sure it hits the wall and circle and have it high or low, one of the two. That's it. That scrubs the air in your tent, and you only have to have that on a timer. So you only have to have that kick on every so many minutes. You don't need to have it turn on or running 24/7. Maybe have it turn on for 5 minutes, off for 5 minutes, on for 5 minutes, off for 5 minutes, something like that. And that's to be fine. That will clean the room. Keep the smell out of your room from leaking out into outside. Sharp points on the leaves. Someone just wanted a reminder what that meant. Like so you have the leaf, the marijuana leaf shaped like that, and you have these little points on the side. When those start looking sharp like teeth, that's the first sign of heat stress or light stress. Sometimes it could be magnesium deficiency, but very rarely that's the case. There's other signs to look at for that anyway. I've talked about the light stress and heat stress before too. The next stage is the teeth start curling up on the edge of the leaves like that. Then the leaf starts tacoing. Then you start getting bleached leaves on the top. How many plants should they fit into a 15-gallon container? My answer was don't do that, because what happens is even if you only have 2 plants in a container separated apart from each other, the roots, unless the plants don't get very big, the roots are going to compete with each other and start intertwining. And so when you have the roots in the same plant intertwining or compete with each other, the plants don't grow to their full potential. And it's better to use 2 smaller containers, like use 2 3-gallons. That would be better than using one 15-gallon for 2 plants, even though it's less space. That's what I recommend. So, or use 2 7-gallons. That's going to give you way better yield. So, what kind of cocoa brand? I get this question a lot. It really doesn't matter, honestly. I just go buy whatever cocoa's there. Typically, I like using the Coco Tech. So I like the way it feels. Now, if the cocoa to me feels too coarse, I'm not going to grow with it. If it's not pre-washed, I'm not going to grow with it. Most cocoa nowadays are pre-washed. If it's at a grow shop, it's most likely going to be pre-washed. Just ask, hey, is this pre-washed? Or look on the label and see if it mentions anything about pre-washed. I really I think it's called Royal Gold. It comes in a red bag, and it's just pure cocoa. There's nothing added to it at all. I like that one, and it's already fluffed and mixed and rinsed and everything. So all I do is put it in my pot and grow. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to expand or anything like that. Coco Tech blocks you have to expand, but they're only like $10 to $12 a block, so it does save you a lot of money because that expands to like 2.5 cubic meters, I think it is. So it expands basically as much as one of those big bags you're paying like $17 for, so you're saving money that way. I just like the convenience of the already ready to go in the bag. There's also local stuff that people will carry. A lot of those local stuff they carry, they actually just open up a name brand and then they just put their name on it and put it in a different bag. It's kind of bull crap. But they typically don't sell for that. In other words, they buy the cubes and then they expand them themselves and everything. And sometimes they'll even add stuff to it. And then they put that in their own bags and they call that their product. I'm pretty sure that's illegal unless they made some sort of, deal with the company, and then they sell it for as much as, $17 or $20 in a bag, rather than they paid less than $10 for it because they're able to sell those cubes for $10, which means they buy it for less than that. Otherwise, they make no money. Anyway, that's cool. I mean, whatever. I just don't think they should charge more than what regular bags cost if they're going to do that. Just keep that in mind. That's most likely what's happening. But yeah, it's very rare they're going to make their own cocoa. It's really expensive, so they have to have a manufacturer and everything to do this. They might be able to buy cocoa in bulk and then, bag it and make it their own, whatever, but most likely they're doing the block thing. Stupid questions, right? I get these all the time. Like, you fucking retard. What's wrong with you, man? Don't write. If you write on my channel and ask me, hey man, can you send me some seeds? That shit's illegal. I just delete your comment. I don't even answer it. I just delete it. I don't do that to be a dick, but YouTube is very censorship right now. Like, they're on all of it. Google, that is Google search engine, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Man, the world's fucked up right now. I don't know what the fuck happened to people, but this new generation of people, and maybe you're some of that new generation, man, think for yourself, motherfuckers. Don't let the society and stuff condition you, because they're conditioning people to be just weird, stupid motherfuckers. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. Where to buy seeds? I get this question all the time, and I just wish they would I think I have this question answered on my website under frequent asked questions. I can't remember. If not, I need to put it on there. Go to 420magazine.com, go to their sponsors, buy seeds from their sponsors. That simple. There's like GYO seeds. There's Herbie seeds, but they don't take credit cards. So you have to use like I think you have to either mail them a money order, or they think they might take PayPal now. But anyway, they have to do this whole thing where they write you back. It's kind of a pain in the butt. GYO seeds, I think they still take credit cards. So yeah, or go to your local dispensary and buy seeds. Yeah, they're expensive, but you're probably not going to be able to find autos. And if you do, they're probably going to be people that are making their own autos, and they're not going to be very stable. So that's unfortunate. But for regulars, I mean, they're fine. For regulars, I mean for photoperiods, local stores, fine. Local grow shop, whatever. Not grow shop, but dispensary. Sorry. But anyway, 420magazine.com. Check out the sponsors. GYO Seeds. Check those guys out. And yeah, hopefully I don't have to keep answering that question over again. But yeah, just use your intelligence, man. Use your brain. There's obviously certain things you're not going to ask me here on YouTube, or I have to remove it because it's just retarded. You don't ask that kind of stuff. Don't ask illegal stuff like that. I wouldn't sell seeds anyways because it's illegal, and it would be foolish because you just go get the seeds somewhere else cheaper. Okay, so that all out of the way, that's all the stuff I wanted to talk about on marijuana, I think, right now. But yeah, this censorship thing is insane. So it's definitely not just growers that YouTube is attacking. YouTube doesn't want anything controversial on their site. I'm actually surprised they gave me my channel back, because since they've given my channel back, they've shut down other people already, other big channels. And I'm like, I'm almost tempted not to do another grow on the channel, just maybe do videos like this and stuff, because I don't want to lose all those videos. Yeah, I can re-upload them again, but it just takes forever. I still haven't uploaded them. I stopped uploading them to Vimeo because I'm like, fuck it, they gave my channel back. I don't want to do all that. But I'm still going to try to do the grow thing and see how it works out, making it very clear this is for medical growers only and stuff like that. And hopefully YouTube is cool with it. If I end up getting a strike for it, then I'm just going to stop putting grows on there. I'll just put grows on Vimeo, and those will go to my 420 magazine thread. And yeah, you'll have to just transfer and watch me over there, and I'll use this channel for doing live talks and stuff like that. Who knows? They might even start banning live talks. But yeah, so I don't know if you guys heard about this, but they banned Alex Jones everywhere. Yeah, he's a conspiracy crazy guy. Like I truly believe he's crazy. I've always had my doubts whether he was sane or not, but after I listened to him with this one guy recently, I can't remember the guy's name. It was a really long interview, recent interview after his ban. Dude's motherfucking crazy. He can't even follow simple lines of questioning. Like, he was just all over the place. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's truly nuts. He can't even follow a conversation, man. And but it doesn't matter. Nuts or not, you shouldn't be banned off of social network platforms. And he's banned everywhere, off everything, off iTunes. You know, he had thousands of subscribers that were buying his iTunes podcast type stuff for the show he does. For those who don't know who Alex Jones is, he's alternative news and very conspiratorial. And he likes to really put his conspiratorial slant on things, and recently his religious slant on things. And I think that's probably what got him banned, which is really bullshit, because that's the whole point of this country, is supposed to have freedom of speech. Yeah, these companies are private organizations, but they are using kind of like the internet, and that's where I think some of this, how do we treat that? Because if you're using the internet platform to host your company, you're kind of bound by the internet rules, you know. And what are the internet rules? You know, should internet rules be freedom of speech? Should freedom of speech apply to the internet, especially if you're an American company? And anyway, so that, I don't know how all that's gonna work out, but still, yeah, even if they're a private company, they can make whatever rules they want. If they're going to say that, yeah, we're a platform that allows freedom of speech, then they shouldn't like pick certain people. But I think YouTube has recently updated their, I think Facebook too has updated their terms and services to say something like, we don't allow any type of hate speech. And Alex Jones doesn't like give hate speech necessarily. He gives all the facts, he gives all the information, makes a point, which seems conspiratorial, but all the facts are there. I mean, he might not be making the proper conclusion, but he shows all the facts, and it's like, okay, that's interesting. But then he takes it to the next level and you know, starts throwing his religious views and stuff in there. But none of that's hate speech. He's not talking bad about anyone. He's not saying, I'm not going to call you, you know, you a she. Actually, he might actually say that. Anyway, so I just think it's bullshit that they ban him off these things. But they're not. It's not just him. There's other. I'm not right or left. I think I lean more toward the left and to the right on most issues. But I'm just a free thinker, and I don't really care about the whole right and left thing. But a lot of the people from the right are being silenced simply for sharing their political views. That's not right. There's been, after Alex Jones got banned, there's a few people that's gotten banned. One from Twitter, one from YouTube, some from multiple platforms. But the thing is, it's not just politics. Why does this apply to us? Because we are speaking something very controversial right now, like how to grow medicine, but a lot of people view it as a drug. And yeah, I guess technically it is a drug, like caffeine is a drug. But you don't see people that, you don't see them censoring people talking about caffeine or the benefits of caffeine, keeping you up to do your work or something like that. So marijuana is a very controversial topic still right now, and so there's a lot of censorship happening with it. You know, if you're too openly talking about the benefits of marijuana and how it can, you know, cure cancer, you're probably going to get censored because there's no evidence for that, and it would be very foolish to even talk like that anyway, because like I said, there's no evidence that it cures cancer. I would challenge anyone to try to prove this shit cures cancer. I'm not saying that there's not isolated cases where it's helped people that have cancer, but we have to show definitively it's because of the marijuana intake that their cancer was helped. And if we you know, remember, cancer also just spontaneously goes into remission without anything. People use this to say their prayer healed them, or their meditation healed them, or their Scientology, whatever they believe in healed them. Their alternative medicine, you know, people use cases like that to claim that they're what's that medicine called? It's not even medicine, it's a bunch of crap, but I can't think of the name of it right now, where they take let's say aspirin and dilute it into water up to like a million times. So in other words, there's no more aspirin left in the water. And then they sell this saying that this was actually, the more diluted it is, the stronger it is. Like, give me a break, come on. Yeah, they'll claim that that's what healed them and stuff like that. So anyway, the body just sometimes heals itself. It's what it does. So people are being censored for this kind of stuff. So just be careful if you have a platform anywhere. If you're talking about marijuana anywhere online, be careful how you word yourself, because it's not going to help the marijuana community if we all get censored and shut down. Already right now, I don't think any marijuana site gets monetized. And what that does, so when they demonetize you, I've personally chosen to demonetize my channel because it's better to do that than to leave them. Okay, when they demonetize your channel, sometimes YouTube Reds, they still allow YouTube Red things and stuff like that, so they're still making money off you. But not only that, they still show ads anyway. The best thing you can do is completely demonetize your channel, so that way YouTube, you're like invisible to YouTube, because you're invisible anyway. If they demonetize you, you're fucking invisible. This means you don't show up in search engines. This means that you don't show up on the sides of other people's videos for recommended videos. It means that you don't show up ever on the front page or anything like that. You're invisible on YouTube. The only views you're going to get are the ones that you earned yourself. I think maybe they might still allow, like if someone types in a specific keyword search engine, that you might still show up. For example, type in as one word, grow pot cheaply, into Google and see if my YouTube channel shows up. It should. And if it does, that means that they don't like block you from the search engine, which is good. But they do block you from anything else. But yeah, it's just better just to demonetize yourself altogether. That way no ads show up for people, except for, I think, if ads do show up, it might be ads for your own channel, but they shouldn't be outside ads anymore. And let me know, do you guys still see outside ads on my channel? Because I might have to go. I might have to go and figure out how to further demonetize it, like to truly take it off so that ads don't show up for people anymore. By the way, if you're ever on a channel and you see a bunch of mid-roll ads, that's not YouTube. That's the channel's owner that does that. That's bullshit. No one wants to see a bunch of mid-roll ads, you know? I don't want to be watching a 10-minute video and 5 ads fucking pop up. That's worse than fucking television. And, but that's the user that does that. So if you're ever like, fuck you, YouTube, it's not YouTube. YouTube gives every user the right to turn that off or on. By default, it's turned off. So they have to make an active decision to go and turn that on, thinking they're going to make more money off their YouTube channels. And YouTube doesn't pay shit anymore anyways. My art channel, which is not demonetized, still gets a lot of views a month. And I used to make around $700 a month from my YouTube channel. Now I'm lucky to make $80. Same amount of views. Everything's the same. All the metrics are the same. That's how different it is. The only people that make money off YouTube are those that make millions of views a day. And even then, they're not making that much money. Unless you get in some special contract because you're so popular, like, you know, well, that's a bad example. He's like the biggest guy on YouTube, the PewDiePie. But there's other people that make a lot of money. You know, like Philip DeFranco still makes a lot of money off YouTube. That's why most people like have a Patreon account or something to offer for sale, to say, hey, if you want to support my channel, go and buy a mug, go buy a T-shirt, you know, whatever. They offer something in return to help them. Or hey, go sign up to my Patreon account. I have extra videos there that aren't on my YouTube channel. That's really the only way to make money on YouTube. The best thing for YouTube is just to offer free information, not expecting anything else in return. And that's how I've always done it. Even my art channel, even though I do have paid courses that you can go check out from my art channel, I don't push that. I just want to give people free information and teach them. I like teaching. I like helping. I like being a humanitarian. And if they like my teaching enough to where they want to go buy a course, that's awesome. And they can go do that. But, you know, YouTube has pretty much made me invisible anyways. So I'm lucky to get 500 to 1,000 views on my art channel videos. I used to get 30,000 easy, bam, like right away. It says I still have like over 80,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, but none of them see when I upload a video, even though they're subscribed, because they did that new bell notification thing. And even then, you don't always get notified. Like I follow Secure Team 10. I think he's a little bit. I just like hearing about the weird news that he talks about, and then I like to go look up the sources myself. So he's just an easy way for me to keep in tune with what's weird is happening in the world. And I don't really care about his opinion, what he has to say about it, because it's oftentimes very naive view of life and very biased. So, but still, I just like the fact he shares it. He goes and does research, finds these weird news, and I go look it up. And I'm like, wow, that really happened. That's crazy. Like when they recently shut down the observatory and the post office. The FBI did, and that was weird. And you know, they said there was some criminal. Anyway, a lot of that doesn't really make sense to me, but that's why I like watching for. Anyway, the point is, I'm subscribed to him. I hit the bell notification. I even redid it again recently, and every once in a while, when he posts a video, it won't show up on my thing. It won't notify me at all. And so a lot of alternative news like that, YouTube is starting to censor. He's considered alternative news because he's given a viewpoint of the news that CNN or Fox News or MSBN, whatever, don't share. So he's given a point of view that is unorthodox and that's kind of a conspiratorial. But he does it in a very, it's still biased, but he does it in a way that's like, he's not saying this is how it is. He's like, hey guys, this is my opinion. What do you guys think? I think that this is weird. Here's why I think it's weird, and what do you guys think is happening? So he doesn't give any definitive answers saying that, oh, this is definitely aliens or this is definitely government espionage or whatever. He doesn't do that. He just lays out what he feels might be happening and says, you know, he connects some pieces together, shows what he thinks is weird about it, and then keeps it very objective. And that's why I like listening to him as well. Anyway, so, but they're starting to censor him now. So I remember when I first started following him, he would easily, and he has like, I think 500,000 or more followers now. I think he has more than that, actually. I think he might have like 1 million. Anyway, it used to be when he uploaded a video, boom, right away, he would have 300,000 views, just right away, within a day or two. Just bam. Definitely within a week. Now, sometimes he posts a video, and he doesn't even get 300,000 views ever on that video, period. So if you scroll back through his history, you can see like his views have tremendously gone down because YouTube, and a lot of people were complaining like, hey man, I'm not getting any notifications from you. I didn't even know you had a new video, because he usually posts a new video every day. And yeah, so it's kind of bullshit what YouTube is doing. They're really censoring a lot of different stuff. It's not just marijuana. It's our freedom of speech on a lot of different aspects. And if you're being very objective, you know, like with Alex Jones, someone can make the point that he over-sensualizes some of the things he says, which might drive people to go and do. Even though he doesn't tell them go and do something, he gets them so riled and heated up about it that they might actually go and blow up a building or something. And I think that's why they banned him, because he had kind of sensualized the what was that event that he was talking about? I have to go look it up again, but a certain event that happened that was very touchy. And he really pushed the conspiratorial side of things. And I think someone went and like shot somebody there or blew something up, something like that. It's not, there's no like definite connection to him, but I think that's how social media didn't want to be like, oh my God, like we gave this guy a platform and now this should happen. We can't give that guy a platform anymore. He thinks, you know, the devil's attacking him and shit like that, whatever. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So he thinks the devil's out to get him. He's crazy. Not because he thinks the devil's out to get him. You got to just listen to how he talks about it. It's how he presents himself and how he can't follow simple questions in a conversation. He's all over the place. His mind just isn't comprehending what's happening around him. But yeah, so it's kind of a scary scary world right now with how things are happening. I'm not sure if you guys have watched so I like watching debates and stuff like that. I'm kind of a nerd, and so there were some debates with people going into universities. Ben Shapiro, for example, gets some crazy, and I don't agree with this. I don't agree with most anything Ben Shapiro talks about, but I still like listening to him. And what's really interesting is when he goes into a university, he needs security guards and everything because people go crazy. He mentioned something about gun control, and the whole thing goes crazy. And especially when like people like that were offering these types of forums. Hey, come and talk to me about gun control. And they would sit down. These students are all just emotional because that Florida shooting had just happened when they were doing this. And there's like, oh, we got to ban guns, and these people were so indoctrinated by the university that they were so uneducated on the topic that when they sat down and were like, he's like, okay, what kind of guns do you want to ban? Well, like machine guns. Like, okay, well, machine guns are already legal. That's already a law. You can't buy an automatic. You can't do that. It's illegal. So what are the kind of guns you want to ban? Well, I think we should ban like automatic rifles. He's like, do you know what an automatic rifle is? And they're like, that big gun. Like, are you kidding me? He's like, or semi-automatic rifle. He's like, the big gun. He's like, okay. He's like, first off, you do realize that almost every gun is a semi-automatic, every pistol, etc. So you want to just ban all guns? Because that's what you're saying at this point, except for maybe bolt action, old school powder guns. They're like, well, no, I don't want to ban that. It's like, okay, well, then what do you mean by what kind of rifles do you want to ban? Like, I don't know, maybe what that guy used, what was it, AR-15 or whatever. And one girl said the AK-47, let's ban those. He's like, okay. He's like, where do you stop then? At what point do you stop? Because, I think the answer person anyway, they were just dumb. They don't know what they're talking about. They didn't even know like what a semi-automatic rifle was. And it's like, hunting rifles are also semi-automatic. So you're saying that we should ban hunting rifles. You can't go and like, kill a bunch of people with a hunting rifle. Anyway, did you guys hear that recent one where the terrorist, I think he used a truck and he ran down and killed like 90 people with a truck. 90 people with a truck. That's more than the dude at Vegas killed with guns. So, and it's kind of crazy because I had this debate before this event happened with someone. We're talking about gun control. I'm like, you do realize you ban guns, it's not going to change anything. If a crazy person still wants to kill, they can just go get in a big truck and just run them over. I actually used that argument. And then maybe 2 months after that argument, this guy goes and runs a bunch of like 90 people down and kills them and injures many more. I think it was either 60 or 90. I have to go look it up again. And I'm like, see, that's what will happen. People will make a way. They'll make bombs, whatever. Like guns, banning guns is not the answer. I know people use these different stats and stuff, like, oh, well, what about Australia? Yeah, well, the thing is, Australia's violent crime has not reduced. Their violent crime in general has not gone down since they've gotten rid of guns and did the buyback. Their gun violence hasn't really gone down much either. Now, naturally, if you totally remove guns from a society, the gun violence will start to go down because people don't have guns, but other violence will go up, and that's what we see happening. Now you're more based on the stats, you're more likely to get stabbed than you are to get shot. So these few isolated cases are so tiny compared to what people are really dying by. Most gun deaths are by gang-on-gang violence, domestic violence, things like that. It's not mass shootings. But nonetheless, crazy people that want to mass kill are going to find a way to do it. And that guy with the truck's a good example. So at least be informed with what you're voting on and what you're trying to pass. Like understand all the facts, I think is important. But anyway, another thing that's huge right now is this has nothing to do with marijuana, but you can see how it infringes on our rights also to be able to speak out. And we got to be careful what we speak and how we speak it right now, because it's not going to serve us any purpose to get banned off the social media. And you got to be careful what you post on Facebook now, concerning marijuana and stuff like that. And yeah, it's stupid, the way it's working out right now. But anyway, so this whole transgender thing, like I don't care. I'm not against it. Like if you want to be transgender, that's cool, man. Go for it. But there's a lot of weird things about the society and how they're treating this topic. So this one lady, for example, was calling Ben Shapiro a racist fascist. And so the camera guy was like, well, what's racist? What does he say that's racist and fascist? And she said something really, she realized what she said was so ridiculous that she like tried to walk away from the camera. Um, but yeah, it's like, it's these kinds of claims that people are making simply because you don't like someone's point of view, because he's anti-abortion. I'm anti-abortion to some degree. I believe that it should be done before brain development. So before 5 weeks or so, 5 to 6 weeks max. At that point, the brain starts developing. Now, it's not even working yet. It's not actually on and working, but it's developed at that point. Or I'm pretty sure by 6 weeks, the brain is developed. Most all pregnancies. That's my own personal view. So I don't like voting on abortion because right now you can abort up to 5 months. At 5 months, if you look at what a baby looks like at 5 months old in the womb, it looks like a baby. It is a baby. It has a fully developed brain. The brain is functioning and working. It's got all the digits. In fact, I think there's been some cases where because they had to take the baby out because it was a danger to the mother and she was going to die, they've taken a baby out at 5 months and it survived. Of course, in an incubator and stuff like that, but it survived. So it's actually a full-grown, well, it's not full grown, but it is a child at that point. It looks just like a little baby. It's got eyes, all that stuff. It's not a fetus anymore. And that's just my personal view. So I don't want to support that. So I don't vote on either way because I don't want to take people's rights away either. Because I think people should have that right. I believe it should be not 5 months. Let's move it all the way back to like, a month and a half or something before brain development. Anyway, that's a whole topic. If anyone ever wants to debate on that topic or just have a discussion, I'm on Paltalk, so paltalk.com, and I'm Karmic Overflow, capital K, capital O, 2 words, Karmic Overflow. And matter of fact, I'll just type that real quick right here. Karmic, oops, come on, computer. So there it is, Karmic Overflow. That's how exactly with the space and everything. And you can find me on Paltalk. I'm often in the religious section, under Christianity, under the actually, let me just show you real quick. You're still watching. It's already 36 minutes into the video. So if you're still here, the likelihood that you'll stay for this is pretty likely, I think. And so this usually will show up on, at least on the app. This will show up right here, and then I go to my rooms, and this is the room I go to. It's Uncensored Religious Debate. Sometimes I go to this one. This one's kind of more boring. But this is usually the room I go to. And then if you go to all rooms, I'm trying to think how to find this. So these are different sections you can go to. And then so you want to look for religion, I think. I don't know if they have it. They have an alphabetical order. Here it is. Religion and spirituality. And then click on Christianity right here. And usually it's going to be one of these top rooms anyway. I don't go to rooms like this because this is just all about Christ and Jesus. These are free will rooms. Free speech rooms. Free will. They're free speech rooms, so this means that you can pretty much say whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about getting dotted or kicked out of the room. Just follow the rules are really simple. Just wait your turn in line, and when 2 minutes are called and time is called, you have to get out the microphone. But yeah, so it's a really cool room and it's fun if you like discussing things like. Sometimes we get into politics a little bit, mostly social politics, like sociology politics. Things like I'm talking about right now. We get into philosophy, we get into religious debates, but it's done in sometimes it gets a little out of hand, like just people's personalities and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's pretty cool. And yeah, so if you just like to talk and discuss those kinds of topics, they're pretty fun. And if you ever just want to come and discuss with me about these kinds of topics, that's where you'll find me at. All right, so I think that's pretty much everything. Oh yeah, what was I just talking about? I got sidetracked there with that thing. I was gonna make a point about. Oh man, totally lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. But yeah, anyway, so I have no idea. I can't remember at all what I was talking about. If it comes back to me, it comes back to me. If I was live, you guys would just remind me, and I'd be able to come back. But anyway, so yeah, basically, these different things that I'm gonna go back to the transgender thing because this is the thing that I was trying to go. I think I was trying to go toward anyway, and the censorship there. So, like people, I think I was talking about gun control still, but people like take these concepts and they make it so radical. Oh, I think I was talking about abortion. That's right. And they make it so radical. So if you speak something that is different than what they're being taught at school, then you're looked at as they basically demonize you. So for example, if you say something like, look, you're born a man, You're a man. That's my personal view. That's my freedom of speech. I'm allowed to share that view without, you know, you can share your view too. Call me a demon, whatever. That's fine. But I'm allowed to share that view legally. There should be no legal repercussions. But now the United States they're actually talking about passing hate speech laws like they did in Canada. So in Canada, you can actually get ticketed and fined, and we're talking a lot of money, if you just don't use someone's pronoun that they want to be referred to as. So if they're born a man and they want to be a woman, that's cool. I don't care. Go be a woman. Cut your dick off. Turn it inside out. Get boobs. Whatever you want to do. I'm all for that. You're an adult. Do what you want to do. But don't tell me that I have to refer to you as a she if I don't see you as a she. If you look like a dude to me, then I'm just going to call you a dude, you know. If you look like a female and you pass as a female, I'm just going to call you a she. That's natural. But if you look like a dude, I'm not going to, my brain doesn't want to call you a she because you don't look like one to me. And you know, I'm still going to try to be kind and respectful to you. But, you know, in that situation, I might naturally slip up. They're trying to make a law that you can get in trouble if you don't refer to them as a pronoun they want to refer to as. My problem with this is it infringes on our First Amendment, our freedom of speech. You know, it shouldn't be legal. We shouldn't be forced to have to call people something. And they shouldn't be offended by it. Who cares what they call you? Like, honestly, like, we're in such a sensitive world now. People are just, oh my God, he did, shut up, man. Really? Come on. You the one who chose to be a weirdo. And, you know, and I don't know, anyway, it's a big topic. And I'm not going to, I don't really care about whether or not it's legitimate or not. You know, are they really, I think they have a mental disorder. And it's really no different than body dysphoria, people that are anorexic and think that they're still fat, or people that think their arm isn't their arm. This doesn't feel like my arm. I feel like this is somebody else's arm. And they go get it amputated. This is a real thing. I shouldn't have to agree with them and call them a certain thing. Like, you know, if someone has a delusion and they think they're God, this is a real thing, delusion of grandeur. And some people take it to the point where they think they're God. Some people think they're Jesus. Some people think they're the archangel Michael. I'm not going to call you Michael because you feel like you're Michael trapped in the wrong body. Sorry, not going to do it. There's no different. I feel like a woman trapped in a man's body. That's cool, but I don't have to call you a woman. And that's what they're trying to pass now, like they did in Canada. Or at least they're talking about it, and that's crazy. But people are so sensitive now, though. If you don't do this, everyone demonizes you. So if you're at school, especially if you're at college right now, you might have already experienced this, where if some transgender dude like says that I'm a she, you need to call me a she, and it clearly is a dude. He's still got, you know, the masculine looking face. It's an ugly looking chick. Like, it's just a dude dressed up like a chick, and it's ugly. As far as a woman goes, like, they don't pass as a woman yet. And they're like, you need to call me a she and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't, and you just refer to them as their first name, nothing rude about that. Hey, John, I'm just going to call you John. Or if you change your name to Samantha, I'm just going to call you Samantha. Hi, Samantha. I'm not going to call you a she because you don't look like a she. If you act like that, people are so sensitive and stuff that everyone turns against you and treats you like you're a demon. So they basically beat you into submission to act like them. They condition you through abuse to act like them through their oversensitivity. So that's where we're at right now. It's crazy. It's a crazy world right now. Hyper, super sensitive, you know, Generation Z and a lot of millennials. And if you're Generation Z or Generation Millennial, that's fine. I mean, it just means you're young, and that's cool. But please think for yourselves. Like, research, do the study. Don't just believe what one person says. If they give you a bunch of stats can easily be manipulated. So look at both sides of the argument and make an educated decision. And please don't be overly sensitive. Allow people to have their own freedoms. They are their own people. You know, we don't have to force people to be what we want them to be. Let them be who they are. And this is the hypocrisy of it. They're like, well, you need to call me a woman because I'm a woman now. But yet they're infringing on your rights and how you feel. Well, I don't feel like you're a woman. So why are you forcing me to have to do something that I don't want to do? Why can't I just call you by your first name, whatever name that is changed to now? And so it has to go both ways. You know, this, you know, they're like narcissistic. They're making themselves the center of the world, and everything has to center around them and how they feel. What about how I feel? What about how other people feel? we really need to consider everyone's feelings, not just our own. And that's important, I think, come to some sort of compromise. And I think first name is a good compromise. Change your name to a female name and I'll call you by that name. Not a big deal. That's a good compromise. I don't have any problem calling them she personally, but my problem is when you try to force me to act a certain way. Like, oh, now you're telling me I have to act this way or else I get fined? Are you kidding me? In this case, you don't get fined, you get ostracized, you get demonized by everyone. Everyone basically is like, oh, look at him, he's a fucking bastard. How dare he? How dare you act like that and not call this person? You're not respecting their rights. And then you just kind of like, okay, whatever, and walk away, and you start, you conform. And don't do that. Don't conform. Yeah, so for example, here's a really good stat that anyone can look up. The suicide rate for transgender people, and this is actually a good argument that it's most likely a mental problem and not an actual real feeling they have. I mean, yeah, it's a real feeling, but that feeling is not stemmed from biology in the sense of that they actually have a female brain in a man's body, but because they have a delusion of some sort. Like I said, some people believe they're Michael. They literally feel like they are Michael the archangel from heaven in a human body, and it's because they're fucking delusional. And we don't cater to that. We don't go, oh, please call him Michael because he's the archangel Michael. That's what he feels like. So call him that. We don't do that. So why should we treat the other mental disorder any differently? Oh, I feel like a man in a woman's body. I don't care how you feel. I don't have to call you that because I don't have to call you Napoleon if you feel like you're Napoleon reincarnated. And some people do feel that way, but we don't have to entertain it. And we shouldn't have to. That's the whole thing. Anyway, they are 40% likely to kill themselves in their lifetime. That's insane. No one else, no other segregated group, no matter how outcast they might be, not gays, not even gays back when they were really treated badly, like back in the 80s and stuff. Not even homosexuals have that high of a suicide rate. Not even close. 40% likely to kill themselves in their lifetime if you're transgender. And that doesn't change much after they get surgery. That is, after they go through full transition. And let's say it's a man turning into a woman. Their dick's turned inside out, looks like a vagina. They got boobs. They take the hormones. They look like a woman. They got the voice. They stop growing facial hair, etc. They made that full transition to a woman, except for obviously their genetics. And even then, they still have like a 35% chance to kill themselves in a lifetime. So it doesn't help them. They try to say, oh, it's because they're being treated, they're not being accepted for who they are, things like this. The thing is, neither were gays in the 80s and 90s, but their suicide rate wasn't nearly that high. So that argument doesn't work for me. There's something else wrong there. I think this is a huge, typically when people with delusion of grandeur also have a high suicide rate. People that think that they're, God, or they think that they're some Michael angel from the heavens, or think that they're Buddha, or they think, they have these kind of delusions of grandeur. I can't remember what their suicide rate is right now. I have to look it up. I know it's not good because they actually have a mental disorder. And I think that's really good evidence that these people most likely have a mental disorder that is making them feel like they're in the wrong body. There's also people that feel like this isn't their body at all. And that's a real mental condition where you're disassociated from your own body and feel like, oh, I'm not here right now. This isn't me. I don't feel like this is me. They have that, but it's just a little different. Instead of this isn't me, it's more like, oh, this isn't me, but it's because I'm in the wrong body, And I wonder if that feeling ever goes away. That not feeling like you are in the right body. Like after they transition to a full female, do they still feel like they're not? And of course they wouldn't want to admit that, but their psychologists would know because they would be talking to a psychologist about it. And I know there are some things that have come forward where some transgenders have come forward and said, yeah, I still don't feel, but they say it's because I'm not accepted by everyone. But why would that change whether or not how you feel about in your body? If you truly feel like you're supposed to be feeling, now you've made that full transition, you should still feel. And this is why the suicide rate doesn't change much, because it doesn't get rid of that feeling, because it's a mental problem. And that's my opinion on it. But even if it wasn't a mental problem, it's a real thing. It doesn't matter. We shouldn't have to be forced by law to call them by a certain pronoun. Now, if society makes like I like the idea of Z and Zer. So this is what you would call others, the other genders. You just call them Z and Zer as far as pronouns go. I have no problem with that. Like, that should be how it is. Third gender, that's cool. If you want to associate with that third gender, I'm willing to use Z and Zer. But if you look like a dude to me, you don't look like a he, she, then I'm probably just going to call you a he. And if you go, hey, with all due respect, I'm a Zer, you know, I'd be like, okay, I'll try to remember that. But I'm looking at you, my brain still says he, and I'm probably going to make that mistake a lot. So that shouldn't be something that we're legally bounded by. What do you think? Leave the comments in the, leave your answers in the comments. Sorry about that, in the comment section below. Curious what you guys think about all this crazy nonsense and how it applies to marijuana and talking about marijuana, because you have to be really careful right now, because it's not worth getting completely banned off these things. We have to find a way to slowly continue to work our way into the social norm. If you just go full force in and just like, oh, fuck you and your rules, and I don't care if you want to censor me, that's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help us get our platform, get our voice heard on the social media. You know, if it just gets us banned, that doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever. Then now we're just banned, and we're just in the dark, and we have to make our own, you know, we have to only be heard on our own websites and stuff like that. And then, and who knows how far they might take it. They might take it to where Comcast starts, you know, or GoDaddy takes your site down. So they try to get it to where you can't have internet presence at all. So we're making a lot of good, like, headroom legally, you know, to get states to legally recognize marijuana as a true medicine, and to get it recreationally passed and all this kind of stuff. But the legal side of things is not the same as the social side of things. So the social media, we don't want to get banned from these platforms. So I just recommend to tread lightly, be intelligent, be smart with what you say and how you say it. Try to be the most legally respectful about it. And if we all do that, we can slowly creep into the social media and be accepted over time to that, so that we don't get banned off of social media. And that's what I realized, like, especially after my channel got taken down. At first I was being very stubborn, very hard-headed about it. And I'm like, you know what, what's that going to serve me in the long run? What's that going to do for the grow community in the long run? It's not going to help anything. If everyone just, they'll just ban everyone off. They can do that. And you can't do legally pretty much anything about it. So it's better to be tactfully intelligent by what we say and how we say it, and what we post on YouTube, what we post on social media, especially Facebook. I think that's where got to really tread lightly, I think, on Facebook, and especially Twitter too. And so just be careful with, you know, what you post on Facebook and stuff like that. Don't type stupid shit on social media like, hey man, will you sell me some weed? Will you sell me some seeds? That's illegal. Like, use your brain a little bit, please. We don't want to be like just totally demonized on social media and kicked off, because if a bunch of people keep pushing head hard and strong, and they just start wiping out people, then people that are being tactically intelligent about it are gonna suffer from that too. And everyone is just gonna be kicked off of social media. And I know that sounds like conspiratorial, but believe me, it's happening right now. And it's gonna suck if it becomes a universal thing where they just go, you know what, fuck it. You talk about marijuana, we don't even care why you talk about it or how you're talking about it anymore. You're just gonna be taken off, period, because it's about marijuana. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Let's try to be smart about it and let that not happen. All right, another hour video. Woo! Thanks for watching. Double peace.